Prologue. Yvette's story. The carriage rumbles and bounces along the cobbles as you approach Paris. It's taken over a week to get here, carrying just yourself and your luggage. Your fiancé, Armand, arranged for the carriage to take you from your small village to a tavern he enjoys called the Orphan's Feast. There he'll meet up with you. You'll likely take dinner together and he'll show you to your new home in Paris. For now, though, you've already finished all of your books and Armand's letters is the only entertainment other than staring out of the window. Read the letter. You must have read the brief letter over 100 times. Let me change the volume, hang on. Armand. Sweet Paris. There we go. Sound settings. See if it goes over there. It does not. But you always found new details to puzzle over. Armand's letters were often extremely long, a habit you'd frequently tease him for in your own missives. Chère Yvette, I know it may be sudden, but I want to invite you to live with me in Paris. Back in your provincial hometown, you were engaged to Armand before he moved north to Paris to participate in the Estates General. He dreamed of changing the country, and this was the political event of the century. You mailed love letters soaked in perfume. He replied with volumes about how much he misses you. The romance of it all helped make up for the inconvenience. Not that your parents cared much about the romance. At first, you'd been afraid to tell them their youngest daughter wanted to move far away. Instead, they nearly threw you onto the carriage to follow Armand to Paris. While you understood the significant benefits your common family would receive from your marriage into a noble one, you couldn't help but be a little annoyed at their eagerness to see you off. I can't wait for you to see it. It's unlike anything back home, a truly vital place where anyone can be anything. Je embrace? Amant? That was something you were looking forward to, a chance to be something more. After all, Baroness Yvette de Marbeau has a certain ring to it. Take in the sights. You crane your neck out the window to peer at Paris. It's even more than you imagined. The streets are a riot of colour and energy as people go about their days. Elegant persons of fashion strut like brilliant peacocks. Students stumble under the weight of their books, and beggars alternate between pleading for alms and shouting invectives at passers-by. Everything feels significant, like the world's next act hinges on all of their choices. Though part of you is worried by your unfamiliar surroundings, you mostly feel excited. This place is to be the stage for your new life. Before you know it, the carriage starts slowing down. You must be here. Armand arranged to meet you at a tavern named the Orphan's Feast. As tired and rumpled as you are, you're glad that he planned to meet you in a place with ample food and wine. When you arrive, the coachman helps you out of the carriage and you find yourself outside a glowing, friendly-looking tavern. The sign shows a grubby-looking child holding a plate piled high with fresh bread and roasted meats. This must be the place. And then what's this? Characterization purposes. It will not impact your path or stats. Speak your mind. I think you make a character in this. I don't know whether that's in the demo, though. Inside, a woman polishing a lantern looks up at you as you enter. Her face breaks into a bright smile. Bonjour, madame. Welcome to the Orphan's Feast. Her eyes linger I'll spare you all the French accent for everything. Her eyes linger expectantly on a door for a moment before settling on you. You're suddenly reminded of how rare it is for a woman to travel by themselves. Bonjour, just everyone's going to sound like that. How may I be of service, she asks. This is my first time here. Anything I can do? Tutorial. Well, let's do it. Don't worry, while the rest of the city can be rather cutthroat, the Orphan's Feast is a relaxed place for getting your feet under you. The woman puts down the lantern that she was polishing. Bom, bom, bom. Anytime I ever read anything in life, I want you to read it to me. Bless you, that's very nice to say. I do have a podcast of storybooks if you want. Down to Sleep on Spotify. Reading classic books. But thank you, it's a lovely compliment. She favors you with a devious smile. Find guests worth talking to and try to say the right things to the right people. You'll never have time to talk to everyone. Try and use your time wisely. I'm sure if you ask around, you'll be able to find your fiancé in no time. The French accent is like right there, wants to come out. When she puts it that way, it suddenly sounds so easy. Oui, 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 oui. While you only have one outfit to your name at the moment, the Orphan's Feast doesn't feel like a particularly judgmental place in terms of fashion. Your credibility won't be shifted by what you're wearing. As long as you explore the tavern and talk to people, you should be able to find Armand soon enough. Armando. I want it to be Armando with the O on the end. It feels weird to just say Armand. Armand? I want to make my character and get dressed up. Okay, so remaining turns, 2. So we pick who to talk to. An amorous inquiry. While you search for Armand, a handsome young man approaches you. Perhaps he'll be able to help. 10 credibility, 5 peril. A reason for travel. A fellow traveller sits at a nearby table, having recently become acquainted with Paris himself. He'll be able to point you in the right direction. -5 cred, 35 peril. Let's speak to the handsome guy. You look around the unfamiliar tavern, trying to find Armand. Your eyes scan for his chestnut hair. Your ears strain to hear the sound of his infectious laugh. Someone clears their throat behind you. You turn around to find yourself face to face with an unfamiliar young man. He's well dressed, handsome enough. It's the middle of the day and he already smells like 2 bottles of wine. Wow. Pardon-moi, madame, but I can never ignore the sight of a woman in need, and you appear to be lost. May I escort you? His smile is broad and cocky. No, monsieur. You may not. I am fine by myself. You are so kind. Please do. The surprised man's face broadens into a happy grin as you reach out and take his arm. Why, it appears that I arrived just in time. Where are you looking to go? Oh, I'm just trying to find my fiancé, Baron Armand de Marbo. Can you help? Well, that is what I offered to help you do, the man grimaces and begrudgingly holds out his arm. You take it happily as he conducts you about the tavern, visiting all the places that you suspect Armand might be. You played yourself, homie. You said you'd help me before I said I had a fiancé. However, after a few minutes searching the tavern, it starts to become clear that Armand is nowhere to be found. Madam, I believe this is where we part ways, your newfound guide says, gently pulling away from you. Before you can respond, with a wave that is barely as polite as decorum requires, he departs to seek the affection of a different young woman. How rude. You have a limited amount of turns to talk at each party. Conversing in a room costs a turn. So now things have changed and there's a different thing over here. A country woman. Now that you're acclimated to the guests and travellers, you should be able to find someone that can lead you. After hours of questioning and searching, it's late in the evening and you've still yet to find Armand. You're not even sure why, but you feel exhausted. Who knew talking to people was such hard work? You'd be surprised. Now that you're warmed up, this may be your chance to finally find out where Armand is. You approach a woman who you had spotted glancing your way earlier. Pardon me, have you seen Baron de Marbo? At the mention of Armand's full title, she laughs nervously. She makes small talk for a brief moment before excusing herself and disappearing into the crowd. The room appears to be emptying out. A gentleman you remember seeing earlier walks by. He might prove a little more useful. Monsieur, a moment of your time? He looks at you and glances over to the woman who you spoke with earlier and quickens his pace as he walks by. The room is emptying out even faster now. You manage to get the attention of another woman. Hello, She doesn't even slow down before she leaves. A third person gives you the cold shoulder. You start to wonder what happened. Are you really that out of place? Is it something with Armand? What's going on? Still, you check around the Orphan's Feast one last time. There's no sign of Armand, not even an open tab with the tavern keep. Have we been catfished? After waiting around for a few hours, you leave the Orphan's Feast, dragging your small mountain of luggage behind you. After all, the coach was only hired to take you to the tavern. Armand may not have been waiting for you like he said he would, but you memorized his address from all the times you wrote it on your letters to him. Like he's not a baron? Is that what's going to happen? It's the middle of the night. The street is teeming with life. The light from the windows and the street lamps sparkle like the stars. You're tired and your feet hurt. But still, you can't help but smile. This is it. This is Paris. No matter what happens, you're still here. For a brief moment, you're not a country girl dragging luggage through the streets. You're the person you feel that you are when you close your eyes. Alone. You're overseeing a grand salon, surrounded by poets, musicians, scientists, philosophers, and artists. You're elegant, sophisticated, respected. You're getting close to the address. Armand never described his living conditions much, but he's the son of a baron. His family was always well-to-do, especially compared to yours. You spent a lot of time in that carriage wondering about the home you'd spend your new life in. Still, you didn't expect this. Calling the house rustic would imply you were out in the country, not the center of a city. The neighborhood is nice enough, but you're worried if you breathe too hard on this building, it'll fall over. A well-kept woman in the attire of a maid opens the door and approaches you. Bonsoir. I assume you must be Madame Yvette. My name is Camille. Monsieur Armand told me to expect you. Is this where he lives? Oh god, the rats in there ate him, didn't they? Impossible, madame. I've taken care of all the rats myself, Camille replies, emphasizing her point with a playful stomp of her foot. Eyeing her worn shoes, you have a feeling that the rats didn't go quietly. Fine. When I'm done, Armand is simply going to wish the rats had eaten him. At this, Camille takes a deep, nervous breath. I'm afraid to tell you, you'll have to wait, madame. It's been days since I've seen Monsieur Armand. I was hoping he was with you. While you're still processing this latest disappointment, Camille seems to notice your mountain of luggage for the first time. Mon Dieu, did you carry all this yourself? You must be exhausted. She's not wrong. You're not certain how you're still upright and awake right now. I've already made up your bed, madam. Please go inside and let me take care of this. You take your diary and leave the heavy lifting to Camille. The inside of the house isn't much better than the outside. Camille keeps the place tidy, but she can only do such much. Such much. Still, you don't care about that right now. You're just happy to have a roof over your head. You flop down on a nearby couch, open your diary, and start to write. You're tired, disappointed, perhaps abandoned, but writing things down always helps you make sense of a situation. Very true. The Orphan's Feast After Party Report, hosted by Madame de Treville. Novelty lost, 0. Rewards, none. 21st of Mars, that's French for March. Early the next morning, Camille approaches you, occasionally wringing her apron with her hands. She's obviously nervous. Madam, there's something you should know. Taking a deep breath, she continues. You're expected to attend a party the day after tomorrow, held by one Viscountess, isn't that Viscount? Marcel de Foix. I mean, Armand replied to the invitation, but you were to be his date. What do you know about them? Huh. I'm sorry, madame, but a Viscount is that, how do I say that? Viscountess. I'm just going to say countess. Fell above my station. I tried not to pay attention whenever she came up. She replies with a shrug. I know she never visited the house. Monsieur Armand seemed to like her. From what I could tell, she was a little... How do I put this? Judgmental. She was a little very judgmental. I hope that helps. Well, at least I have a party to go to. Mm-hmm. Camille looks visibly relieved. Parfait. If you need anything washed or prepared, just ask. Does that mean... Perfect! That reminds me, Camille exclaims. If you're going to a party, you should make sure you're dressed appropriately. Fashion moves so quickly here, and people retire outfits before they even wear out. Yes, let's get dressed. Viscountess. The vis is silent. Viscount. Okay. Camille continues. Monsieur Armand was always going through clothes so quickly. He said every outfit had a certain amount of novelty, and every time you wore them, the novelty would go down a bit. In fact, even a little thing like wearing the same thing twice in a row could run the novelty out faster. Can you imagine? Fortunately, he knew the most delightful clothier on Rue de Faubourg Saint-Honoré. She runs a shop called Le Petit Mogul. I'll draw you some directions. Immediately, she starts sketching some directions, mostly just simple renderings of local landmarks. Le Petit Mogul. If you head out today, you should be well prepared for the party tomorrow night. So we get to go clothes shopping, and that sounds like that's the mechanic, is changing your clothes for every party, doesn't it? They're going to be like playing cards, which I love. Wardrobe. This is me? I'm hot. So what do we have? My provincial outfit. This is how Armand found me. Out in the countryside, working in the fields. I was but a peasant girl. Next event. This party is being held by the crown. Okay, so how do I... Accepted. Request the attendance of Baron Armand de Marber. A gathering of her most loyal peers for entertainment and merriment. You are most eagerly awaited. Attending the party gives you a level of exhaustion. Ignore the invitation. 5 credibility. Crown gossip. Accepted. Okay. So can I go buy some clothes? Explore Paris. There we go. Look at the map. Le Pot Morgon. A small shop run by the dressmaker Fatima Shenna. Spend your day here to buy and sell wardrobe items. Beautiful. That's what we like. Just drinking. A lot of reading today. It's a long walk to Rue de Faubourg Saint-Honoré, but the trek to the narrow street is worth it. Every block comes with a vibrant energy bursting with life. Porters, social climbers wind their way through the streets festooned with brightly coloured parcels. Paris may be a city swimming in fashion and finery, but this is the source. The street is home to all the major fashion houses in the country and to Rose Burton, personal dressmaker to the Queen herself. And now you're here. Back home they sigh and dream of places like this and then quietly get back to their little lives. Not you. Your circumstances may be less than ideal, but you're still here. Le Petit Mogul. You mumble to yourself idly, trying to make sure you remember the name of the shop. Eventually you find a small boutique tucked between some far grander buildings. You open the door and walk into the tiny shop, which seems even smaller due to how absolutely full it is. This isn't just a boutique, it's a workshop for whoever works here. Rolls of gorgeous fabric cover every available surface. A cloying smoke hangs in the air. The scent is pleasant but wholly unfamiliar. Loving the soundtrack, it's like really setting the vibe. As soon as the door swings shut behind you, you hear a sudden rustling of fabric further in the store. A customer, Hamdallah, a surprising young voice calls out. Bonjour, madame, welcome to Le Petit Mogul. A woman, presumably the owner, calls out to you. How may I help you? Oh, let's do the tutorial. Also, what does that smell? Oh, that. Her cheeks flush with embarrassment. It's a lucky incense. I light it on slow business days. Her next words are quite a mumble. My mother gave it to me. How may I help you? Tutorial, please. At those words, she looks giddy to the point of bursting, but tries to play it off as a knowing smile. This deception is only half successful. I can help with that. Dress me up. I don't just sell outfits here, I also buy them. Click the sell button to look at your own outfits. Select your provincial... Oh, look at me. Every outfit has 3 traits: modesty, luxury, and novelty. Different factions prefer different looks. When you're ready, click the buy tab and see what I have in stock. Select one of my outfits to see if it's to your liking. If you like it, you can click the purchase button to buy it. Okay, so we have plain common outfit. That's plain common? What? Look at the size of me. So we have luxury, modesty, and novelty. And it's £10 for that. We have Virginial pricey outfit. 78.92, 100. The lovely colour. Virginial common outfit. It's cute. 60.93, 100. And that's 106, and this is £10. I guess for the demo they're overpriced, so you can't pick anything else. Conservative vintage. Oh, off to play some croquet, darling. For a spring picnic. Scandalous thrifty outfit. Oh. Modesty 3. That's a boobs. Luxury 15, but the novelty is 100. Scandalous. It looks the same as the plain common outfit though. Why do I feel like maybe the art isn't in for the scandalous one? Because it's the same, look. That feels like the art's missing, doesn't it? Shame. sell... Wait, I already own these? I can sell them all for some reason. But I can only buy that one. I guess it's bugged. Wait. I bought it. There we go. I bought myself a dress. Da-da. You awaken to the vision of sunlight filtering through the shutters, scattering sunbeams across the dusty bedroom. It takes a few minutes before you groggily remember the events that brought you here. You may also remember that tonight you have a party to attend. Camille enters your bedroom, already full of cheer. Madame, when would you like to start getting ready? Now. That's good to hear. These preparations seem to take all day. On days where you have a party, you won't really have time to spend exploring Paris. Once you go to your wardrobe, we can get started. Oh yeah, tutorial. Don't worry, madame. A glamorous woman like yourself is sure to catch on quickly. So I could go wearing that, or this. What? Yeah, I don't think it's meant. That does not. Like, that has one less luxury than my provincial outfit. That doesn't seem correct, does it? But I'll wear it, I guess. What if I'm wearing rags and I don't understand it and it's £10? Do you know what I mean? This could be embarrassing. When your carriage drops you off at the party, you find yourself waiting in line for quite some time. Looking at the other guests, you wonder if you're underdressed or overdressed. It's honestly hard to tell. You look over yourself one last time and confirm you're wearing your plain common outfit to a party being held by the Crown. Everyone has their preferences, and you've heard that they prefer guests to wear racy outfits. Yours is plain. They also like to see luxurious outfits, and yours is common. The guests have no strong feelings on your outfit, and your credibility has not changed much. In preparations like this, the results of tonight could be a toss-up. While you're determining your standing in a world of fashion, you manage to overhear an interesting rumor whilst in line. You make a mental note. A piece of cheap Crown gossip. Unfortunately, you can feel exhaustion set in as soon as you think of the full itinerary ahead of you. Tonight's going to be a long night. Being exhausted gives you a credibility penalty. Immediately upon entering the vestibule, you're greeted by a doorman holding a small ledger. While he isn't physically barring your entry, his manner certainly is. Name, madame? He asks expectantly. Baron Armand de Marbeau. The valet looks shocked. Baron, why are you dressed? A moment later, he composes himself. I see, you are the Baron's date. My apologies. Anything I can get you? Take this gift of wine to the hostess. Convey my deepest gratitude to our hostess. So if I want to, I can pay money to give her a gift? Sure. With a small flourish, you present a bottle of wine you had the forethought to bring earlier. It wasn't cheap, but the gesture is more important. Ah, merci beaucoup, madame. I shall make sure the Viscount is aware of your... is aware of your generosity. Turning from you, he waves imperiously to another servant nearby who takes the bottle from you. Afterwards, the servant dutifully scurries away. You hear some appreciative murmurs from other guests in the vestibule. Your gratitude and enthusiasm seem to have made an impression on them, doing away with some of the tension in the air. Surprisingly, the doorman himself seems unfazed. Okay. Before you can ask any other questions, he bows deeply to you. Pardon-moi? Viscountess de Foix instructed me specifically to inform her as soon as you had arrived. We've heard so much about you. Enjoy the party, he says with a smile. Okay, oh look, hey, there's that guy from the bar. So what do we have here for conversations? The royal household, a pair of ladies whispering among themselves about a rumor concerning the family of His Majesty King Louis. The royal painter, guests are admiring a painting of the hostess, painted by someone of considerable skill. You might even be able to meet such a person. The gentleman who entered the room seems like he's been to quite a few of these sorts of events. Perhaps he can tell you more about the host. Ooh, choices. Let's see the painting. In one corner of the party, you find two guests clustered around a painting hanging on the wall, talking in low voices to themselves. You pause to examine the painting yourself. It's a beautiful piece that shows the hostess standing in a field, posing with her dog. The eyes and lips in particular look marvelously lifelike. Do you have any idea how Marcel managed to get this? A man asks, his face the picture of shock, not taking his eyes off the painting for a moment. He must know the Viscountess de Foix very well in order to use her first name so freely. Wait, is that pronounced Marcella? I have no idea, the woman replies, glancing furtively around the room. Ever since Madame Lebrun started painting portraits of the Queen herself, she seems to feel she's above normal social niceties. Must have cost a fortune just to make an opening in Madame Lebrun's schedule. You assume that Madame Lebrun knew much about social niceties to begin with, the man quips. The two of them share a sly chuckle. Oh, sly chuckle, at the absent artist's expense. You'd think someone who worked on commission would care a little more about what others thought of her. The woman turns and asks you furtively, what do you think of Madame Lebrun and her eccentricities? I've always admired her willing to strain against convention. She can be as rude as she pleases. Her skills speak for themselves. Not even great painters are above the consequences of society. Lebrun will have hers yet. She can do what she wants. Your surprising forwardness leaves the room quiet for a few moments. The man and the woman glance back and forth between each other for a while, trying to figure out what to say. Finally, the man manages to say, I see Madame Lebrun has quite the fan. I must concede there are a few portrait painters who have so superbly captured the image of the Queen. God preserve her. I suppose that we should go. The woman interrupts, taking her friend gently by the elbow and leading him away. Peril up. I'm in danger. I gained a little favour with Madame Lebrun. Don't worry, you'll meet her later. Good. Rather be liked by her than these stuffy plonkers. The two of them hurry away to another part of the party. While that certainly didn't make you any friends, you know Madame Lebrun is a far more impertinent person to be on the good side of, exactly, than two random hangers-on. Yes, game. Facts. Who's this? Marcella, a woman in a staggeringly pink dress, is approaching you, carrying her pet dog. Judging by the way the other guests are looking at her, you can surmise this is Viscountess Marcella de Foix, the woman who invited you and Amass here. Is that a child on stilts? What are you doing? You nearly mistake the woman standing in front of you for some kind of a walking confection. A pampered dog lounges in her arms. I don't believe we had the chance to properly introduce ourselves. I'm Viscountess Marcella de Foix. Her voice raises in volume imperceptibly, but it's enough to draw the attention of the large crowd in the room. Everyone, this is Yvette, Armand's fiancée. A murmur of interest, interest, washes through the crowd, and you can feel their eyes focus on you. I'm so glad to see you. Armand, that ambitious little thing, has told me so much about you. In fact, I'd say he's quite infatuated with you. A common girl like yourself. You're so lucky. Where is Armand, by the way? Ooh, what's this? The choice requires an easy credibility challenge. He's ill at the moment, or I was hoping to find out where can I find him. Let's lie. Oh, really? Look, she did it. She's evil. He insisted. Marcel trills and her dog yips happily. That is so sweet of him. Marcel trills her dog happily. You've barely arrived from the country and he still wants you to meet all the people he's been so fortunate to associate with. It's very kind of you to represent him like this. I'm sure he'll be well soon. I mean, I was hoping he'd show his face here, but you'll do. I guess it makes sense that you're here. Armand could never stop pestering his betters. It feels rather appropriate that even when he's sick, he'd send his peasant fiancée to do it for him. The crowd, which only seems to be growing, murmurs in agreement. In fact, I almost thought I was rid of him once and for all. Yet here you are, a fresh set of nuisances. Does this ever end? Do you always bemoan every nuisance you send a handwritten invitation to? For a moment the crowd hushes. You seem to have struck a nerve. Even the dog looks a little undone. I suppose that when cornered even a rat will think it's a lion. Marcella whispers, her voice like ice. You gained quite a bit of credibility. You have gained a little favor with members of the revolution. She advances on you close enough to feel the heat of her breath. Let me be clear. You and your grasping, traitorous fiancé are not guests in my home, nor will you ever be. I invited him here so I could express my displeasure to him in person. Peril. Now pay attention, because I would hate for you to miss the point. If you should ever find your wandering Armand, tell him he is unwelcome, conniving weasel. In fact, both of you should go back to your petty little village and leave Paris to your superiors. Marcella studies your face intently for a moment, and her voice suddenly fills with concern. Oh, you poor girl, don't look so hurt. Think of this as educational. You don't belong in Paris, the same way that a stray cat doesn't belong in that dress. She gestures dismissively at your finery. Trying to look like us, act like us. Stop, you're embarrassing yourself. Are you not embarrassed? Yo, we're getting roasted. Leave my estate and never show your face here again. Before you can reply, a valet grabs you roughly by the arm and drags you from the room. People like Viscountess even, do need to do their own dirty work. They have servants for it. It takes far longer than you'd like to get outside, as the entryway is crowded with guests preparing to leave. You feel their eyes weighing heavily on you. I think we've met our nemesis. When you finally get to the door, you feel a brutish shove. You stumble out into the courtyard, barely keeping your balance in your heels. This area is equally crowded with various persons entering personal carriages. You hear somebody snicker, but you have no idea who it was. The only thing left to do is go home. Fine by me, my face was the only pretty thing in that gaudy house anyway. Boiling over with anger, you turn and rain insults upon the house, upon the host, even upon her dog. In fact, you consider throwing your shoe through one of their windows before you remember how much you like that shoe. It's then that you notice that several of the carriages have stopped just to watch your display. Scanning the faces of your new audience, you see the glaring, unamused faces of the various party guests. Your views on Marcella the Crown in general have not gone unnoticed. The coachman and the valets, on the other hand, think you're hilarious. You lost favors with members of the Crown, gained favor with members of the Revolution. You'll meet these people later. You nod to the more appreciative members of your audience before leaving towards your own carriage. When you arrive at the place where your carriage is parked, you find out that it isn't. It's gone. You check to make sure you're in the right place, but to no avail. The carriage you hired is simply not there. He went home, a passing coachman says helpfully while adjusting the harness on a particularly grumpy horse. Dorman came out about an hour ago, told him you wanted the coach to leave without you. It seemed real important. He went home. Before you can even respond, he gets his carriage moving, leaving you alone with yet another indignity. Going back to Marcella is obviously unacceptable, and it's too far to walk home. Most of the other guests have already left. There appears to be 3 other carriages waiting to leave, each of them quite different. A humble carriage, a bold carriage, an extravagant carriage. I think we be humble. The carriage to the left of you is of foreign design, features a gilded crest as its only ornamentation. This crest is emblazoned with a motto in Latin and appears to belong to a priest of some description. The curtains are drawn, but someone appears to have lit a lantern inside. Judging by the occupant's silhouette, it looks like he's reading. You consider the humble carriage for a moment. Is this who you'd like to ride with? Let's take another look. The bold carriage. The carriage in front of you is being used by a soldier of some sort. The driver is leaning intently towards the passenger compartment, waiting for orders. You recognize the insignia of the Queen's Dragoons. What about the big one? I like how they have different themes. The carriage to your right is richly decorated, yet somber. Swags of black crepe hang from the roof of the carriage, leaving only glimmers of gold underneath. The decidedly feminine bent of the decorations indicates the occupant is a woman, but all of the black suggests she's in mourning. Ooh, a wealthy widow. Settled in your decision, you set out, ready to entrust your fortune to a mysterious stranger. The coachman pays you no heed. You approach the sumptuously decorated carriage. Normally you find yourself to be quite fearless in social situations, but something about this whole scenario gives you pause. Should you knock on the door, call out, you've heard that the courtiers in Versailles grow out one of their fingernails so they can scratch on the door as it's considered less disruptive. That sounds terrifying. Imagine if that was how somebody knocked on your door, just scratched their nails down it. Locked in a cycle of indecision, you curse the fact that you cut your nails this morning. What seems to be troubling you, madam? Calls out a voice from inside the carriage. Madame, my fiancé is lost. Our host denounced me and my carriage is gone. Can you help? How tragic, replies the voice with a trace of amusement. What kind of person would I be if I didn't take pity on such a helpless soul? A little favor. Renee, the door, please. With that, Renee the coachman hops down from his box and opens the door for you. He wears the same colourful livery of most servants, but it's adorned with a black badge on his breast. You squint to peer at the woman inside, but to no avail. Between the swags of black crepe obscuring the windows. What is crepe? I thought crepe was a pancake. And the lack of lanterns within the carriage, the entire inside is shrouded in gloom. A delicate pale hand reaches out from the darkness to you. You take her hand and step inside. Did we get to see what she looks like? Wow. After a few seconds, your eyes adjust to the shadows and you see the woman in front of you. She's older than yourself, but still younger than you'd expect. Dressed in luxurious morning clothes, she reclines easily in her seat, clutching a fine glass filled with water. Speaking of, time for a drink. We'll get together and run this city, baby. Strawberry water. What's up, Zally? Thanks again, Anna, for that gift sub. My name is Honorade. What should I call you, madame? Just Yvette, s'il vous plaît. Just Yvette it is then, she replies with a shrug. Shall we be off? She knocks delicately on the roof compartment, and with a clean crack of the coachman's whip, the carriage makes way towards Paris. Well, I saw you a few times during the party tonight, and I know you're new to Paris. We never had a chance to properly introduce ourselves. However, I did manage to hear about your most unfortunate run-in with our host. Why were they so dreadfully cruel to you? Apparently they're enemies with my lost fiancé and wanted to snub him by berating me. We'll call her Honor, because I don't know how to say Honorade. Honorade. Doesn't speak for a while, instead choosing to stare into her glass of water with an expression of surprise and disgust. New love interest. Well, I think this is a romance game of picking who you're going to be with. Actually, let me read the Steam store page, because we didn't do that for this game. This is our second game of the night. Hang on. I swear this is a romance. Hang on. Which also comes out next week. I'm enjoying it so far, so I might play the whole thing. 18th century Paris, a city of love, lies, and revolution, a woman of fashion trying to survive political turmoil. Date a cast of unforgettable characters, amass wealth and respect that you deserve, engage in gossip that can alter the course of history or lead you to the guillotine. Yeah. So with this being the demo, it's the prologue, I would assume the main game is us like actually single and like finding a date and stuff. How vile, she replies, to find a person who's been beset by such great misfortune, then to mistreat them so, just a posture among one's cohorts. Truly despicable. Like us trying to get power and choosing who our partner will be, it sounds like a pretty great game, honestly. You must be quite strong to endure such dreadful treatment. A little favor. She examines you intently while she sips her water. I assume you're already planning your revenge, no? I know I would be. Oh, baby, we're perfect for each other. After a long silence, Honorade leans over to the window and looks out through one of the few spots not obscured by black crepe. I'm sure you already know just how dangerous it is to accept rides home from strangers. You could be going anywhere right now and you wouldn't even know it. All right, Lady Crane. You are slightly uncomfortable, probably because she's making a good point. You stop to wonder if you'd be any good at leaping from a moving carriage. Honorade interrupts your train of thought. But of course, the best way to fix that is by not being strangers. Ask me some questions so you may properly judge my character. How long have you been in mourning? She sighs. That's a reasonable question, though not one I like answering. You see, as of last week, it's been 2.5 years. You maintain a neutral expression, but can't help but dwell on the fact that 2.5 years is far longer than any prescribed period of mourning. You've heard of widows wearing a black weeper on their gowns for a few months longer than most, but this is something else entirely. You're very polite. Most, when they hear that, take it upon themselves to chide me for my breach of decency. What do you think? Is 2.5 years too long to mourn for a lost love? I mean, how good was this lover? One should take as long as they like, but you can't do it forever. Mourning has a set length for a reason. Life is for the living. Something romantic about casting aside decency for the sake of grief. I like that. I think so too, Honorade replies, her lips twisting into a devilish smile. How can we say that we love someone if we're not willing to defy the rules of decency to do it? You've gained some favor. We yearn for a beloved that would do anything for us and us for them. Yet the moment we see a pair of lovers actually behaving this way, we tell them they're sick or wicked. I'm glad to know you haven't fallen into that little trap yourself. Forgive me for being rude, but I imagine your next question is you're wondering how I know our host. She's not wrong. To answer your question, which I've so rudely stated for you, I don't. Not really, at least. She chuckles into her glass before taking a leisurely sip. Of course, now that I know what they did to you, I have no intention of getting to know that conniving wretch at all. Until a few years ago, I was actually quite the homebody. My husband's textile mills made more than enough money for me to live a life of leisure, which he was happy to let me do, though I'm sure he was frustrated by my unwillingness to attend all the big parties his clients would throw. Crowds don't really suit me, you see. I prefer more intimate gatherings. Just to think we could be in a carriage with a priest right now. I am so glad that I picked this one.
Oh, hello, dear. Did I tell you about Jesus?
I'm gonna go with the Take Betty Widow. Bye. However, when Charles passed, I kept getting invitations. He had so many friends, and I hated the idea of letting him down more than the idea of being in a room filled with people I don't care about, so I started going. Listen to me. That was certainly more than you asked for, and what about you? What made you want to come to Paris? I'll do anything for love. She'd like that answer, I think. You left everything behind and travelled far away, all for love. Honorade smiles distantly and runs her hand along the satin cushion that she's sitting on. I like that.
Yes.
You're ruled by your passions. Such things aren't in vogue in this age of reason, but I feel like if one is going to be controlled by anything, it should be love. The journey to your home in Paris lasts for a long time, but it doesn't feel that way. Honorade plays the part of hostess wonderfully, always managing to guide the conversation in a satisfying direction. Unlike so many other of the persons you've met in Paris, she seems completely uninterested in polite small talk, focusing more instead on more interesting subjects. Love, loss, passion, transgression. You barely notice it when the carriage arrives at your home. Without interrupting you, Honorade signals to Renee. Signals. The coachman silently hops from the box at the head of the carriage and opens the door for you. Honorade offers her hand to help you up as you get out of your seat. When you take her hand, you find yourself looking into her eyes. Oh my. Yvette, may I ask you to do something for me?
Certainly, my queen.
When I introduced myself earlier, I told you to call me Honorade, and now that I've spoken with you a little more, I've had a change of heart. I would much prefer if you called me Madame Gazelle when you addressed me. Would you be comfortable with that? Why exactly? She examines you carefully before continuing. Because any relationship with another is about more than who they are, it's about who that other sees you as. And I think that any relationship we have moving forward would be more pleasurable if you referred to me by that title. Do you understand me?
Yes, I do, madam. Madame Gazelle.
Marvelous. She helps you down from the carriage.
Yes, mistress.
And from the carriage and into the street in front of your house. Hopefully we shall meet again soon. Bonne nuit, Yvette. She says to you before Renee closes the carriage door. Soon with a crack of his whip overheard, the coachman spurs the horses into action, and the carriage winds through the streets and disappears into the night. See, I feel like if her name is Honorade, right? That's that you would assume if someone said, "Oh, actually call me Mister," that it's like, "Oh, I thought we were going to be friends. This sounds like the conversation went bad." But I think she meant it in kind of a saucy way. You know what I mean? Gained some favor because that conversation actually went really well. You turn to your home and see Camille is already there, holding the door open for you. Who was that? She asks. A very intriguing woman, one I'm hoping to see more of. Your mind brimming with new possibilities, you step inside and head upstairs. Slowly you get undressed and open your journal to record exactly what transpired tonight. The Queen was recently seen bedecked in a spectacular new diamond necklace. Is it a sign of royal power or unnecessary excess? I collected some gossip, and I lost some novelty. Chapter 1, Establishing Oneself. She said, "Call me mistress, darling." When we play the full thing, we'll have to give everyone, like, the voices. Just because it'll sound funny to read filth like this. You awaken the next morning in a bed that still feels unfamiliar. In the process of waking up, you start to recall the last night's humiliations and wish they were merely the product of your fitful dreams. Unable to go back to sleep, you spend some time tossing and turning in bed before finally sitting up. Nothing is going to make last night go away. We've all been there. The only option is deciding what to do next. You feel exhausted, not physically, but in your very soul. Like your fate in Paris has already been decided, and that to remain here would be pointless. It would just be the humiliations of last night, over and over again. However, stronger than that exhaustion is the simmering rage you feel at the outrageousness of your circumstances, the injustice of your treatment, at the thought of going back to your tiny village after finally making it here to Paris. Alright, cat, have a good dinner. Hungry myself. I only had a frozen pizza earlier. No, you must go back. You cannot go back, not while a single candle of your ambition still burns. Camille pops into the room, already dressed and ready for the... I mean, let's get with Camille. She seems lovely. Bonjour, madame, she beams. It looks like you had quite an active night. Is there anything I can get you? Find a spare pillow and smother me. I'm not sure. Do you know how to make a murder look like an accident? Some kind of refreshment. Smother me. I'm sorry, madame. The other cushions are waiting to be washed. We can't have you end your life with a dirty pillow. It would be improper for a woman of your station. While you wait, I must insist on getting you something to drink. Going without wouldn't be healthy. What can I get you? Ooh, tea or wine? Tea, please. I'll keep my wits about me if I'm going to regain people's trust. Camille returns so quickly with the tea that you're certain she made it ahead of time. It's piping hot, fragrant, and not too bitter. You drink the brew in silence, the gears of your mind slowly getting up to speed. The tiredness fades. Your anger does not. We should have gone with the wine. I wonder if the credibility would have gone down. Should have turned into an angry drunk, stumbling through the streets of Paris. You take a few moments to finish your drink in silence and collect your thoughts. Something that keeps coming to mind is all the gossip you've heard during your time at the party. Most of it was idle prattle, but some of it felt scandalous and valuable. Without an inheritance or a job, you need to find a way to make some money. Maybe someone would be willing to buy the gossip. Is that a thing people do? Camille taps her chin thoughtfully. Well, when I was at Les Halles the other day, someone mentioned something about a newspaper with amazing society pages. I think it was called Les Trompettes du Peuple. They'd have to get their stories from somewhere. Why not you? In fact, I bet you'd be great at that. I've gone from Baroness to be to gossip monger. Great, just great. With that, your day begins. I'm liking this so far, more than I thought, honestly. I thought just for the novelty of it, of like, oh, being a queen and like gossip and dating and stuff would be fun, but actually pretty into the story. This is like 2 for 2 on these games today. No. Alright, Liv, have a good rest of your night. Well, let's go and check this out. A popular if unscrupulous newspaper. Spend the day here to sell gossip and manipulate public opinion. Been forever since I played a dating sim. 5 dates was probably the last one we did. I don't think I've done a visual novel one for ever. Can't even remember the last one. Because I never played the daddy one. I'm trying to think what it would have been when it's not an FMV. You walk through the city, following Camille's directions. Eventually you find yourself threading through narrower and narrower streets. The alleys, packed with refuse, and the occasional vagrant napping in the shade feel almost oppressive in their closeness. Suddenly, the alleys open into a wider street near a square. You can hear a splashing of a fountain nearby. You finally find the sign for Le Trompot de Propos. The paint appears to be fresh, but the office seems awfully small. The door is locked. You give it a knock, nobody answers. Looking around, you find a hastily written note. Office temporarily closed. Engaging in emergency fundraising efforts. We apologize for the inconvenience, management. Fear not this setback. The light of journalism shall never fade. It's at that moment you realize the splashing in the fountain is getting louder, accompanied by some of the most inventive profanity you've ever heard. Against your better judgment, you investigate. Aha! A reedy voice shouts triumph. What's a reedy voice? Reedy? You come upon a man in grubby finery, also known as grubbery, up to his knees in the fountain. His shoes have carefully been placed at the water's edge. He does a little jig as he drops a wet coin into his snuff box, which is clutched tightly in his other hand. Da, da, da. Dream Daddy, that's it. Yeah, I should do it sometime. I do have it. I've owned it for like 3 years and never played it. Noticing your presence, the man in the fountain turns up to you with a nod and a smile and attempts to be ingratiating.
Bonjour, madame.
Oh, high and thin. Bonjour, madame. Are you Pierre, the esteemed editor of Le Trompot de Peuple? This is your emergency fundraising? The stranger's smile turns sour and he marches out of the fountain. I shall have you know the fundraising is far more difficult than it appears. Even the most noble of men must occasionally stoop low to accomplish great things. What do you want? If I wanted to sell some gossip, how would that work? A devious smile crosses his face. New to this, are you? Don't worry, it's much easier than you think. This list shows you the pieces of gossip you have. Gossip's value is determined by its tier and freshness. It also has an effect if you peddle influence. I'll take the gossip for free, but you can use that effect to change the standing of a faction. However, right now you need money, so click on sell. Ah, so you can either exchange for money or for influencing how you want. Increase or decrease the power of the crown. Are you sure you'd like to sell this cheap crown gossip for £30? If you do this, there should be no chance of the public finding out. You ready? Leave. Okay. I like how the tutorial is just basically the same thing, but talks you through it. You wake up the next morning to a polite knock on your bedroom door frame. Camille enters, carrying a small armload of letters. Do you think this is Camille or Camilla? Just spelt differently, with an E. Camille. Camilla. Camilla sounds nicer. Maybe we'll start calling her Camilla. Madame, Camille starts. Well, I've already gone back to it. It's confused and hesitant. There's a lot of letters for you here. Take a letter. The letter, written in elaborate calligraphy and sealed in a stamped wax, appears to be an invitation to a party. Oh, great. More chances to be humiliated by someone I don't even know. Well, yes, madame, these could go badly, Camille admits, but not everyone in the city is particularly honest. In fact, most people of your station tend to have a lot of enemies. However, that dreadful host must have enemies too. All these invitations must come from people who hate that vile person as much as we do. Yes, wait, we? Madame, you're the mistress of this house, Camille states matter-of-factly. I can't allow any insult against your honor to go unchallenged. Yes, team. I know that you hate them, so I hate them as well. In fact, I've already sworn to never speak their name again. But I'm getting off topic, madam. I think that these invitations are your chance to meet good people in the city who don't hate you. Or Monsieur Armand. In fact, I'm sure anyone who really judges you fairly is going to love you. How does this work? This is us. Congratulations on successfully finishing the demo. No! Oh, I wanted more. I'm so glad this is out in a week. What? I gotta get some dates and some parties going. Yo, we should definitely play this when it comes out, right? We sincerely hope you enjoyed the beginning of Yvette's adventure in Paris. Consider adding to your wish list. Yeah, this is like end of next week, I think. Like the 25th or the 26th or something. I want to get to the dating and the good stuff. That was a nice little preamble, though. That little slice, that little prologue was enough to convince me that the full game could be fun once we get into the partying and the dating. I like the way it was written. It wasn't like too serious. It was like some really fun options there. So I like that. Ambition, a minuet, and power. We shall have our revenge. Yeah, looking forward to checking this out. Very nice. Yeah, impressed.